Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Bookish Artist Mandy here, and I'm coming at you today with kind of a fun one, I think. So I've been thinking a lot about story and how things tell a story and that kind of stuff, especially with life being kind of tough in my personal life. This has been kind of the thing that I'm focusing on. And I obsessively have been purchasing around. I cannot tell you where I got these inks because I forgot, because I was grabbing them separately from different places. But these are the new Shikiori Kusa Asobi line of inks. So they do, from what I understand, Sailor does these inks as kind of a 4 seasons. So I think we've got fall, winter, summer, and spring is from what I'm understanding. But these ones, Kusa Asobi, it means nature nostalgia, which is inks inspired by joyful scenes of childhood spent outdoors. So I kind of wish I would have done these in, the right order, like fall, winter, spring, summer kind of thing, but I didn't. I just kind of went with what I had. I just had these lined up this way. So we're going to go this way, and that will be fine. But I am really excited to swatch these inks in kind of a new way. I'm trying. I love to experiment. So let's get rolling. We're going to start with the first one here, which is Tsurubami. Now, my annoyance with Shikiori inks is only their bottles, because I don't read Japanese, okay? I can't tell. I don't read Japanese, but what I like to do, because they don't have anything in the bottles, sometimes they do, I like to take off this sticker right up here on the top of the box, because I don't keep the boxes. I have these fancy little, at least for these ones, I have these fancy little Sailor ink containers or holders that hold these Sailor ink bottles that I 3D print. So I like to do that. So I then will put this, I was off camera, but I take that little sticker off and I put it on top. And if it doesn't stay, I will throw down some, I could put some clear nail polish over this. I haven't really had a problem with them coming off except for one, but I just started doing this recently, so I'm getting better at it. Or you could just glue it down, but that just so I know what it is, because this color is kind of the same in some of them. So I'm gonna start with the Tsurubami, and we'll go. And this one is the brown for autumn, and this is gathering handfuls of fallen acorns, delighting in their smoothness and shine. So I have this is a drink mixer stir stick that I got off Amazon, and I'm gonna bring it over here. I'm gonna put them all together over here and have the kind of fun swatches with my spoon, just so we can kind of see the depth of the shading. And then I'm gonna take my dip pen, my Hana-kanmuri dip pen, over here, and I'm going to do some inspired by acorns doodles, and just kind of give a story of what it is, and just kind of do a couple like line writing. And yeah, that's what I thought. So I set up the page, just in case you weren't telling, I set up the page before we started. So I have my Hana-kanmuri dip med on my deleter pen holder. I still have yet to get a pen holder. I keep meaning to. Myers Pens now actually makes them, so I've been meaning to get one. I just haven't yet. I'm kind of like waiting for like the right blank to come up, because I only need one dip holder, and I'm gonna color in the lines here. Yeah, this is autumn. I was thinking maybe coloring in also up here and doing like every 4 letters kind of thing. Yeah, we'll do that. And maybe up here I'll do it in the order. But I was excited about these inks. I like the Shikiori inks. They're always interesting to me in so many different ways. And I don't know. I also was thinking of using my Sailor Hokoro dip pen because Sailor, but I've been just loving, I don't know, something, I feel like I've finally broken in, quote unquote, broken in my Kakimori dip nib, and so now I just want to use it, and it's been a lot of fun. I also just love that I can dip and go and dip and go, and it actually, if you see, in one dip, now that I've gotten it kind of working, you can get quite a bit out. See, I can still, so I've been figuring this out. The more you use it, the better it is. And when I think of acorns, I think of squirrels, and that, you know, makes me think of my friend Susie. She's a dear friend of mine, but she loves squirrels. And so every time I draw a squirrel, I think of her. It's kind of like if you give a mouse a cookie, you're probably going to want this. And so if you give a Mandy an acorn, she'll start thinking about other people. I don't know. I just am going with it. But there's some, and then I kind of want to write acorns. It is a lovely, lovely brown. I don't think I have any browns quite like this, which is kind of fun. I'm trying to figure out how to describe it. It's very, I don't know. I'm trying to think. It's desaturated, which I'm all about, but you can see kind of up here, it is coffee-esque, but not completely, I don't know. I think it's more like a light sepia, but I don't know. It's a hard color to nail down, but it is very like any of the Sailor inks, very faceted and beautiful shading and lovely, lovely, lovely. I'm really excited to have this. I've been wanting more browns that aren't just pinky, and when I saw this one, I thought, okay, well, so it's hard because there were a couple of them that I want. I was like, might as well get the whole thing, because if you don't like them, they're only 20 milliliters. That's what I love about Sailor. So then this would be 1, 2, 3, and there's going to be 3 other colors, and 1, 2, 3. I've been thinking about that. So 1, 2, 3. One of the things that I think, because I've been thinking about inks in different ways, 1, 2, 3, is that inks can tell a story. And I love that these ones are inspired by nature, inspired by a story. And so that I've just been thinking about that with inks, and how are they inspired? How do they inspire story, and what is the story behind them? And just kind of thinking about that. So I'm thinking maybe this squirrel is looking for an acorn, and he's stuck in the tree, but he can't get down because he got stuck there, and he really is hurt. I don't know. That's kind of maybe, but he really wants that acorn. Or maybe he can't get up the tree because for some reason he forgot how to climb. I don't know. I'm just throwing out story ideas, but something like that. And that comes from learning about story in all my storytelling classes and whatnot. So I did dip to get the tree, but otherwise I was able to color all of this and do all of this with one dip in my Kakimori dip nib, which is really fun to see. Get some leaves going up here. I just really wanted to kind of showcase the ink in different ways and different line variants. And yeah, this is one I think Karina does all the time, is the 3 lines. I got that from her, and kind of giving you an idea of what it would look like in a finer nib. But I also love to, so maybe the acorn is falling from the tree and the squirrel is right here, like, come here, my acorn, come here, please. I'm gonna jump, right? Maybe. I don't know. I don't know, maybe he's a squirrel that doesn't like acorns, and he's like, oh, I have to have an acorn again. That is something that I think about with story, and telling stories is so much fun. And so a lot of doodles when I think about these things come from that. So just thinking about the stories that could be behind this ink and why they did it. But really, it's just that gathering handfuls of falling acorns, delighting in their smoothness and shine, is what the sailor's website said, which is a lot of fun. But it's interesting how grayish this leans. It's kind of like, it's an interesting brown. So I think a lot of browns, in my opinion, or maybe it's just the browns that I go for and then I pick up, a lot of browns are really, really red leaning. So they lean red in some way, shape, or form. And the reds are, they're lovely, don't get me wrong, but they are pinkish browns. And I think that's just what I'm attracted to. But this one is very interesting. I'm gonna wait until it dries, but it's a lovely, lovely brown. That's for sure. All right, now we are gonna move on to I think we're gonna move on to what would be considered spring, which is Hana-kanmuri, because that's the next one. So this one is playing in a breezy field of flowers until sunset. So this is inspired by grassy flowers in a grassy field. And so I'm trying to think of the best way to describe this here. So when you think of Hana-kanmuri or Hana-kanmuri, it's playing in a breezy field of flowers, and it translates where Tsurubami translates into acorn. Hana-kanmuri translates into pink garland. So that is thinking about those pink flowers that you can gather to make a garland. I love that. So I wasn't sure about this one, if I really wanted this pink, but I love pinks. It's just that this one, when I saw it online, looked a lot more yellow based, and I like purple based pinks a lot more, or like bright pinks. And so we'll see how much I like this one, and if I use it, and if not, I will probably pass it along. I'm getting much better at passing along my inks, or, you know, sharing and whatnot. So I've been just feeling like being attached to nature is so, so lovely. With everything going on in my life right now, I haven't had much of a chance to slow down and catch up on San Diego, which feels like a whole lifetime ago, and really we just got back a week ago. But if you haven't caught any of my other videos, we got back on a Friday, and my father passed away a couple days later. So it was probably Wednesday he passed away. So it was really fast. Autumn, winter, spring, summer. Okay, autumn, winter, spring. And so yeah, so I haven't really had a chance to even sit down and think about my trip. But one of the things I loved is that we spent pretty much the whole time, except for one day, outside in nature. And I just, something about being outside in nature is not something that was really big for me when I was younger. I actually used to say I was allergic to the outdoors. And so being outdoors and having kids has really been helpful to enjoy the outdoors a little bit more. So I'm trying to get those in the right order there. And then, yeah, but loving the flowers. That was one of my favorite things, is there are just flowers everywhere in San Diego. And I think that's partially, you know, I come from the Midwest, South Dakota, where we have winter a lot of the year. And so I just kind of got used to being inside because I hated being outside in the cold. It's kind of a baby growing up. Now I'm like, oh man, maybe I want to go out And I definitely think that art has inspired me. I don't know, it's just an interesting thing. I want to say that I used to hate flowers. And I am so mad at younger me. There's a lot of reasons I'm mad at younger me. Like, I thought that flowers were pointless because if you give somebody flowers, they just are going to die. So what's the point? And then I realized that flowers are just lovely and they are fleeting and they are something that isn't going to last forever, but they are beautiful while they last. And I have just been enjoying it. I have been loving looking out onto my patio that's right by our kitchen and enjoying the flowers that we picked out from the garden centers here, and we planted them, and they are thriving in our sunny area, and I'm just loving the flowers. So maybe this will be an ink that I love, but I'm not sure. It is reminding me a lot of, as it's drying, it's reminding me a lot of J. Urban's Rouge, or is it Rouge? It's the one that's like rusty anchor. I forgot the name of it, but I know it's like Doncra or something like that. And I don't think it's, I don't know, but it's rusted. It's rusted anchor. So I do think it's reminding me a lot of that, and it is just lovely. I don't know how to say that, but it is, I think it's more pink than that. I don't know. It's a really pretty flowery ink, and I am here for the flowery. I don't know, some way it is not as pink and in your face, but it's also not as, I don't know, coral. That's what I was looking for. I do love, don't get me wrong, I love me some coral inks, but like Pilot's Hana-ikata and a couple others that I'm thinking of are, a lot of the times they're so corally or too light that I'm not as big of a fan of them. And so these are fun. And I hope you're getting some really great ideas for some flowers. And yeah, I'm just loving just doodling lately. Just doodle and doodle, doodle, doodle. That's kind of what I've been doing. It's really all I want to do, which is great, and turn my mind off. So I hope that some of these doodles you take and are inspired by. So, but yeah. So the story here for me isn't necessarily flowers or garlands, but it's thinking about flowers in my own life and how they have definitely transformed my vision on nature and life. And yeah, because I realized, I think going back to, sorry, I'm all over the place like always, but going back to the idea that flowers die, it's one of those things that I realized even on, because having flowers, even on the actual plant, the flowers bloom and they are fleeting and then they die. So really, even if you have them on your plant, they're going to die anyway. So why not enjoy them in that way? And I just realized that I forgot to do my swatch up here. So we will do that now. And get some of that going here. All right. I just thought this might be a fun way to do a swatch a little bit different, you know, mixing it all up. And I just love doing these swatches like this from Hey Julia here, or Hi Julia here did these, and I love the way that it pools and looks so cool, and you get some of that really nice shading effect. But I also like my doodles, and I like to see how things work. I didn't do any lines in Hana-kanmuri. I want to say Mukuri. I think there is an ink that's like got Mukuri. Oh yeah, Kakamori Mukuri. That's why I keep wanting to say Mukuri. And so here's some lines, just so we can kind of see how it works in lines, because I feel like that's kind of an important thing. I just love this pet dip nib. The more I use it, the more I am falling in love with the brass. And it is thicker lines, but I've been kind of in a thicker line phase lately. So there is that too. And yeah, I don't know. I think though, I want to go back at the end. I do believe that I have earlier on in this book, I do have Rui Donkra. It's Rui Donkra, I think, but I think I have it, and I do think that they are pretty much the exact same ink. So if you have J. Urbans, maybe this is one that you wouldn't necessarily need, but if you, I know that for me, Rui Donka can be kind of dry, so maybe you go with the Hana-kanmuri. I don't know. I want to look at it because maybe they are different, but it's feeling like they could be pretty similar. And I forgot to take the sticker off of my Hana-kanmuri, but I will do that later. But I'm going to do that right now with sasabane. Just like that. Okay, my camera died while I was filming, and so you missed this coloring and me kind of rambling about how I discovered in my process of looking at this, sasabane, or boon, however you pronounce it, it means bamboo leaf boat. And I was like, bamboo leaf boat, because even the text was placing the boat back on the flow of the stream each time it got stuck on a stream or got stuck on something. Was it stream? Let me just double check, because that sounds weird. But also we're translating English to, or Japanese to English, so maybe that's right. I'm not positive. Oh, it got stuck on a stone. So not stream, but it made me think about this as I was doing this. It made me think about because this is, you know, thinking about childhood and what you do with nature. And I guess in Asian culture, I think there's, especially from what I was reading as I was researching this, was that in China, there are stories and tales, and I believe Sailor's a Japanese ink, so it must be even in Japan. But in China, there are tales of like how important and significant little bamboo boats are. But it's just this like childhood using nature as a simple toy. And I remember, and I don't know if you all have these memories at all, if this was something you did, you know, taking what you had, because here in South Dakota, we don't have bamboo. So it couldn't remind me of bamboo. We have bamboo if we import it and make it. But what we do have is a lot of different prairie grasses and different, what we consider, you know, dandelions are considered a weed here, although apparently they're not, and were brought here from the UK or Europe. I'm not sure exactly, but they have like a medicinal purpose. But to us, they just grow naturally, and my husband hates them, even though I love them. And I loved them as a child, and I am quite obsessed with dolls. So this is me just kind of doing a quick rendition of what I would do. And I would take the stem, and I should have flipped this around. So I will do it. I'll do another one. But I would take the stem, and I will show you what I would do. I would take the stem and I would flip this dandelion around, because to me, the dandelion's flower looked like a skirt to me. So I would take it and I would flip it upside down, and then you would have the stem to make sure I'd find a dandelion that was really tall, because dandelions can get really tall, and I would break it off, because the stem you can take and you can kind of like string cheese. You can pull the stem, and if you've never done this, you should try it. It's fun. And so I would take it into these tiny little strips, and then I would put it in water, and you would curl that. So then it would be like the hair of the doll, and it would curl. Like those little strings would curl up. And it was so cool because then I would take a little tiny twig and give it arms, because I'd put it through it in the middle and it would give it arms, and then I'd have a doll from nature. So that is what this idea reminded me of. And I haven't thought about my little dandelion dolls in a long time. And it makes me want to go out and do this again. And we would take dandelions, and then we would go get, you know, leaves and have little homes for them. And I don't know, is that something that you did? I'm remembering this stuff from nature. The more I get back into nature, I'm remembering these little things that I would do. And I'm so glad that there is ink out there that has inspired me to think about these things. And so I hope that maybe this part right here inspires you to think about, what did you do as a child? Or maybe you remember these things like more than I did until now, but it's so lovely how children play. And I think now that I have my own children, it's been a lot of something that I think about, you know, how did I play and how are my kids playing? And it's so much fun when we were at the ocean, because my kids, we live, you know, completely landlocked. We live maybe by some fake man-made lakes that are gross, and I hate going to the lake because they're just gross and dirty, and I'm like, I feel like these are a cesspool of disease. So we don't do a lot of lake. We do, you know, chlorinated pools because we do have those. But I was thinking about watching my kids, as I was watching my kids out in San Diego, and they were playing in the water, the ocean. They had a little shovel, which is all they had. They had a shovel and a couple little like other beach toys, but they were digging for fossils and then making all these different things into some really fun things. So then it was like, oh man, we found this fossil, and then they definitely found sand crabs or sand fleas or mole crabs is what I guess. I looked that up too because I was curious. I was like, what is this? It's so creepy. And then I get kind of paranoid about that stuff. So then I felt like the little sand fleas were like climbing up into my feet, and I hated being in the sand. But that's alas, that is me and my issues, and I tried not to push that onto my kids. But it's like, oh yeah, they go out, and I've been trying to get them to go out more, and so many good memories that I have had from being outside and just exploring nature. So thinking about summer and exploring nature and being out in the great outdoors, and I don't know. I'm just thinking about some of this stuff. And yeah, these are just, it's fun. It's fun to think about ink. And I have been more and more. It's fun to think about ink in a different way, and just how does ink inspire you, and how do the things around you inspire you? I have been thinking a lot about that, and like the things that matter to me, and yeah. So that's just been a lot of my thought process with this, and that is sasabane. All right, our last ink in this is Yuki-usagi, which for me, because anyone else a huge Sailor Moon fan, I didn't have to look up what usagi meant, because I have known since I was a child that means bunny. For many, many years. I've also called myself Baka Buns many times. So yeah, that used to be my screen name, was Baka Bunny. So idiot bunny. Yes, I was really mean to myself when I was younger. But this means snow bunny. And it's the bunny hopped happily about, forgetting the cold in the excitement of fresh powder snow. And this actually is the color and with the story that got me really excited about this ink. Because I always love a gray, but a snow bunny? Hello, thank you. Yes, please hand it over. Anything with bunny in it. I am just a huge bunny person. I was the year of the rabbit, so there's that. And so it just kind of feels fitting. I've just been a huge bunny person my whole life. And living in South Dakota, we have a lot of snow bunny. And we have a lot of bunnies and a lot of rabbits. Like my dog is literally outside trying to chase the rabbits right now. She comes in for like 5 minutes and then sees another rabbit in our backyard and she has to go chase it. She's not caught a rabbit, and I just like cross my fingers that she never will, because I don't know. I don't know if I could handle like looking at her. I know I guess my old dog, my oldest guy, I guess he's caught a couple rabbits, but my husband doesn't tell me. He's like, yeah, he's caught a couple. I'm like, really? He's caught rabbits? He couldn't now because he's got gimpy legs. He has 2 knee replacements. And so he could not now, but just the thought of it kind of grosses me out, and thinking about the fact that he caught a rabbit, and I love rabbits. They're so cute. And so anyway, I love that snow bunny, and how magical is that to think about. And this one, as it's going down, is a lovely blue, but it's looking like it's shading to gray. And I'm here for this ink. This was the one that I was so excited about just because of the name of it. Oh man, like anytime you see rabbit, like I'm there. I am just jumping for it. And I mean, it's a thing. Maybe I shouldn't, be that way, but it's the reason why I got all of these in the first place, is because of the beautiful idea of snow rabbit and the soft blend. So this is like white mixing with the rabbit in the snow. And I don't think I've actually done the same things in this thing in order the whole time. I was gonna do, be fancy and do everything the exact same order, this, but I didn't. I kind of have been flip-flopping from doodling to talking about it to getting those done, but those are drying lovely. And it's fun to have this whole spread. I'm very excited about this spread. I think this is going to be a fun way, and I hope that other people decide to do something like this. Take your inks and tell a story, or why did you pick this ink? What inspired you to get this ink? Now this one to me so far looks like a blue-black, but gray, if that makes sense. It's a very fascinating color. And imagining the bunny hanging out in the snow, my little bunny, he's just like, I'm gonna hang out in the snow here. I'm just a cutie with my little tail until my dog comes to get her, right? Until you get eaten by a dog, and then all bets are off, right? And a little snow in the ground or in the air. This is a lovely, like blue-gray. It is. I love how it's drying. It will be interesting to see this one in writing. They'll all be interesting in writing, at least, I think. The Shikiori colors are usually my favorite, so I have a love for them. Some of my favorite. I say that about a lot of inks, so I just I have it's like the whole idea of I'm an inkaholic. I am an inkaholic, and I am okay with it. So I imagine too that if you have an actual bunny, that's a cartoon, they've got their snow gear on. Yes, Brutus, I hear you. My dog wants in. He will get in 5 minutes, and he will be okay. Mom is almost done, buddy. I don't know if you can hear his scratching. I never know what the camera's picking up, and I always apologize for it if you can hear it. I don't have the greatest of cameras, and I don't have the greatest of mics and things, but I do my best with what I have. So, yeah. How cute is he? Oh my gosh. Okay, I love him. My little snow bunny. How precious. And he is just waiting for it to be warm. I don't know. I'm just walking along in the snow with his snow boots or her snow boots. I don't know if it's a girl. Maybe it's a girl. Maybe it's a boy. I don't know anymore. But cutie. How cute is he? Ah, love it. And I want to get a little bit in there. And yeah, give it little lines. Try some different widths and variation. And snow bunny. I don't know why I do that. Stimming, you know, when I randomly sing in song. I'm still giggling at myself, the fact that I did it one day and apologized to my students, and they were like, oh, Mrs. Cool, you do it all the time. Still do it. So there we go. In case you were wondering, yeah, I will sometimes sing to my students, and it's quite amusing to them. And so yeah, there we go. There this is. And these are, a couple of them are still drying a little bit, and I'm gonna pause here or cut, and I will come back when they are completely dry and let this sit. I also want to see if I have Ruidankra in the earlier stages of this book, and if not, I'm going to pull it out and see how close it is, because I really love to be able to say, hey, if you like this ink, skip this ink, you know, kind of thing. I think that's an important thing. I really don't have anything like these other ones. I really don't. They're very unique. This green, maybe I might have something like as a sample, but I don't think I have anything that is exactly like this. I think maybe Book of Botany by Ferris Wheel Press, but I'd have to look at that too. I will be back. Okay, so I did do a comparison. Sailor Shikiori Hana-kanmuri definitely has more dark shading than Ruidankra. So I had Ruidankra in here from a while ago. You can see here, this one is actually more pink or like subtle. And you can see it here. It's a little bit pinkier, where Shikiori Hana-kanmuri is got almost like a black halo. And I don't know if you can kind of see. And get it up, and so it will, trying to get the camera to, there we go. So you can see the Ruidankra and the Hana-kanmuri. However, I think that even, you know, that is very similar. And then I was looking at Kobe 54 Ochre and looking at those lines. They are also similar. So just something to think about. If I'm making sure I'm getting that. Something to think about if you're looking at one of these. I honestly think that if you like that, because I do love, especially if you're using like a broader nib, because I used my Hokoro dip pen. If you're using a broader nib and you want that beautiful like brownish black halo, is it brown or black? It's definitely a browner halo. So if you want that brown halo, that is something that Ruidankra doesn't have, but Hana-kanmuri does. So those are like the differences in that. Now I'm going to swap over to here into my greens, and I'm going to zoom out because, okay, so I zoomed out because I wanted to see against all of my greens that I have. So most of these are just samples. I'm trying to look and see if any of these are not a sample. I thought Book of Botany would be really close to sasabane or the bamboo leaf, but it's really not. It's more blue than that one. So you can see Book of Botany is more blue. This one is definitely has this, I don't know, it's really pretty. I think it would look really pretty in my matcha pen. And it might be the one that goes in there after Ghost Plant, but this is definitely different from my other greens. There's subtle differences, but I'm really liking this one because it's more a mid-tone green, but it's not like lime. It's more grayish, which is something, and gray, but not blue. So it's more yellow based, grayish, which is similar kind of to seaweed, but again, seaweed is more, there's shades of blue in there. Maybe avocado would be the closest, and avocado has more brown. So it's just kind of like looking at the different subtle differences. I always like to look at those subtle differences, make huge difference to me. Even like, so I got a full bottle of Beneath the Wheel recently, and it is different, super different from my original. And so that is something interesting. And I don't know if my sample was kind of off and funky, or if it was just the batches, because I have seen that sometimes batches of inks can be a little different, but this one's definitely more truer to the like, there's a little, that Wearing Glue always comes with these beautiful little Pantone swatch sheets. This one isn't as close as this one is. So they're not, I don't always find these to be accurate, but this one is definitely more accurate. So something was up with my sample. Could have just been a different batch, or who knows with samples. Sometimes they're not always correct, like exactly correct, because who knows if how you tampered with it or how it got. But I did love this color. So I'm like, oh, I hope I can find another ink that's this color. But I do love this. I'm kind of excited about getting that into a pen. So anyway, that was just looking at them. I don't have anything similar to this unless I were to look back. The Tsurubami is definitely a new brown for me. Maybe somebody else has an idea of another one. And this Yuki-usagi is definitely beautiful. So I kind of want to pull them up so you can see all the different nuances in those inks, because they are lovely. They are really, really lovely. And so here, I'm going to show you those all together. You can see there's actually in this, so this is gray and dark blue, and there is a red sheen. What? Okay, that's lovely. That is lovely. I can see this was the one that I had the hardest time finding, and I know why. Like it is a lovely shade of blue. Like that is delicious. And so you can see the brown shading. So if you like those really brownish pinks, this is another good one. I think I love the shading in it, especially when you're doing artwork. That shading is something that you don't always get in some of the inks. Like I'm digging that. I'm digging that. And it's a lovely color. It would be very readable. I'm very excited about this green. That is definitely right up my alley for greens. I have just been so into these grayish greens. I don't know why, but I've like found my greens, and because I never used green ink up until recently, and now I can't get enough of it because I found ones. And then I love this. This is almost like a gray blue in the acorn in the Tsurubami, and it's really pretty. Oh man, that is just a lovely ink. That one, yeah, they're all lovely. But and then I'll give you kind of the different line widths, different colors that you can get in the lines, and all of that. I'm really happy with these inks. As always, I love the Shikiori ink line. I just love that. Like that's pretty true to what it is, and it almost gives it like the red sheen is not showing up here, but it's kind of halo-y, and it is showing up in the red sheen is showing up in the pant leg where I colored it. So if you used a broader nib, that sheen would show. But those are lovely inks. Lovely. I'm so excited to have these in my collection. And let me know. I love to play with different ways of swatching, because I don't want to do the same thing over and over, but I really love how this page turned out. If I'm doing kind of like a series of like the same inks or something, or if I'm trying to kind of come up with like a story more so, these ones were pretty easy to come up with a story since Sailor kind of gave it to me already. But I really enjoyed thinking about the inks together as a whole rather than just kind of being like, oh yeah, here's some new inks. I really did think about that when I was getting these. I definitely wanted to have the set in this way, and it's going to be kind of fun. I know that I'll use them other places, but it's going to be kind of fun to like throw this into my fall lineup and into my winter lineup. Spring's over, but you know, summer is coming here very soon. Spring is almost over. I guess in like 5 days, isn't it June that spring is over? I cannot remember, but let me know what you think of this setup. Does this inspire you to go out and do something like this? Because you can, absolutely. I would love to see it if you do it. Share with me, tag me on Instagram, whatever. Or have you picked up some of these inks? I would love to know if anybody's already picked up these inks and what they think of them. I obviously haven't put them in a pen, so I don't know what they look like in a pen, but I'm trying to call down my pens again because I got a little crazy at the middle of the month. I haven't been thinking. I've just been filling pens right now, just trying to pass the time as we are prepping for funeral and all of that fun stuff. Not fun, but it's good. And so I'm just kind of like looking at this. Do you like this? Do you not like this? Let me know what you think of this format. And because I am just so enamored with the Yuki-usagi, which is something that I was pretty sure I was going to be because it spoke to me so much. Leave me a bunny emoji if you don't want to leave anything else. So yes, anyway, that is it. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.